Let's meet the starting lineups. Introducing Herriman. A 6'3" junior, number 5, Brock Terry. A 6'1" junior, number 11, LeGrand Burgess. A 6'2" senior, number 12, J.L. Vaughn. A 6'9" senior, number 24, Blake Freeland. And a 6'6" junior, number 35, Case Peterson. The Mustangs are coached by Scott Briggs, Kevin Damron, Andre Ellis.
Welcome in the D-Event Center for the 6A quarterfinals. Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart with you. This quarterfinal has the Pleasant Grove Vikings, the number 1 seed out of Region 4, taking on the 3 seed from Region 3 in the Herriman Mustangs. Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart. Dane, this is going to be, we thought about this when Herriman's game against Kearns was coming to an end, or probably against Granger was coming to an end. We said, hey, this happens to be the game. We think this would be a ball game.
Dusty, this game, I really don't quite know where it's going to go. This one could get landslide, or it could be a real competitive 32 minutes. And in my mind, it all starts inside the paint. And Matt Van Komen, 7'4", we talk about his length. We've done it all well for years now. The senior for Pleasant Grove, the center. But what we saw from Blake Freeland in that first round was a physical guy willing to dominate the paint and could stretch you outside. Now, PG in that zone, Van Komen's going to live in the paint. But if he's able to push Van Komen out on the offensive end, when PG's on offense, then does that disrupt the flow of the PG offense? And I think that's really where it starts tonight. But you look across these lineups, and you can match positions. You've got JL, an extremely talented point guard for Herriman. Be interesting who he's matched up with. I would be tempted to throw him at Casey Brown, the shooter. But you do have shooters on both sides. Casey Brown for PG, but then you look at that first round where Graham Burgess shot the ball really well. You look at some of these other guys as well. Brock Terry had a good game. There's a lot of different pieces. Case Peterson, one of the bigs. We didn't talk about it yet, but he has that ability to help with some of the backside stuff on Coleman and help against a Church or a Mickelson. These lineups, I think, have a lot of similarities to them and could lead for a really great quarterfinal.
It's Freeland and Van Komen jumping it. And very rarely is Van Komen can contest here in the state. Freeland wanted that tip. So now here's Fairbanks, hands back to Mickelson. Now on the angle, Casey Brown. Casey off the screen from Matt Van Komen. Try to go inside, and it's picked off by Freeland. Now on the run, Vaughn.
It's a small thing, but there was a high screen, and Case Peterson had the job to just hedge on it. You know what he did? He went and he bodied Van Komen for a couple seconds afterward. They're trying to send a message to the big man for PG. Don't get too comfortable in this one.
Burgess couldn't get that 3 to fall as Brown gives up top to Kavika Akina. Vaughn out there with him, goes off the screen of Van Komen. Kavika out to Brown as Freeland again going to contest that one, trying to get it into Van Komen, and another turnover. And that's where, Matt, you got to be more assertive on that block and keeping the guy inside you, or behind you. As Freeland gives it up to Vaughn. Floater, no. Rebound to Mickelson. And as much attention as we gave to the paint, Coach Scott Briggs has a totally different view of what this game is.
Yeah, he does. He said, hey, we're going to roll the dice and just try one-on-one, and we really feel like we have to win other battles. Right now, Freeland is winning the battle against Van Komen.
What he said, he goes, look, he's not just one guy. If you just focus on Van Komen, they got 4 other guys that can go beat you.
Yep.
He's like, that's our biggest concern. As down the lane, and the floater is good for Brock Terry.
And that's what Coach Briggs said. We have to be able to execute in the mid-range game because that zone is going to take away some of your perimeter shots. Van Komen obviously going to do a lot on the interior. Got to live at 12 to 15 feet, and Brock Terry able to hit the open shot, and another steal here by Herriman.
Terry strips Brown, now on the run with Vaughn.
The scary thing about this ball game, with the way that Herriman's playing, I think they've won, 6 straight now? Playing their best ball of the year. And you come in against the number 1 team, motivated, look out as Burgess with the floater.
LeGrand Burgess gets it, and it's a 4-0 start for Herriman with 5:47 remaining in the first quarter and a 30-second timeout.
One of the interesting things, we've done a lot of PG games this year, and sometimes you take you take advantage of having a 7'4" guy in the paint, and you can lob some of these balls to him. You can be a little casual and passive with how you go about your offense when trying to get him engaged. Well, it's not going to work against Blake Freeland. This is a young man who I feel like is motivated. And, in fact, Herriman, about midway through region, they're like, we're going to win state. I mean, the motivation started then. Right then, they were like they were in the third spot in region. It wasn't out of the realm that they could have missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this group, the senior leadership, J.L. Vaughn, you talk about Freeland, they said, no, we are going to go and we're going to make a run. Motivated group. And you've seen that in some of the entries to try to get Van Komen involved. It's fronting him. It's Freeland from behind knocking it back. Going to have to be much more assertive for PG offensive. I think they've been too casual in the first 2 minutes.
Outside now with Fairbanks. And now Brown comes out that screen of Van Komen. Straight away, Mickelson got inside the mat, and a foul now on Freeland. And that's really what you need. Freeland's been very physical, Van Komen, and to pick those up, and legitimate foul there on Blake.
It was, and that's going to be the line that Blake is going to have to learn how to play for. You want to be physical. You want to contest some of those, but you're going to get fouls, and you've only got 4 more to deal with.
Van Komen could not handle that pass, and Vaughn fouled by Mickelson. And that'll be the first team foul on the Vikings. And here's the other part of this is that Pleasant Grove obviously saw American Fork fall down double digits to Region 3 champion Copper Hills. As you send up top, work it around. It's Burgess for 3. Front iron, rebound to Fairbanks as he saves it into Matt and hand back off to Fairbanks.
But maybe fortunate, Matt came over strong side really aggressively to try to take away the paint. Herriman couldn't take advantage of it.
Lob it into Van Komen. And they got away with the travels. J.L. Vaughn, Fairbanks chasing, and Vaughn lays it in.
6-0, the Mustangs. Dusty. Woo! How about the defense of Herriman?
Well, this is why we thought it would be a really good game.
Yep.
Fairbanks sent up top to Brown. Casey, hand back Kavika. Akina near had that picked by Vaughn and Mickelson.
How many guys have been able to take away the driving lane of Akina this year? Great job by Vaughn, and it's Peterson on the board.
And Burgess couldn't handle that, but the carom goes right in the hands of Freeland, who hands over to Vaughn. High post, Freeland.
He can hit that shot. He hit a 3 in the first round for Herriman.
Try to go opposite there. And at a kick ball as he tried to get that into Peterson. My favorite action I've been talking about. High post, look opposite, and there it was.
Yep. Van Komen going to come off. This is the usual time he checks out, about midway through.
As Derek Church comes on to go against Freeland. And it's a strip by Brown. And how about the English on that ball to stay in play?
Great recognition by Brown to not pick that up. He was out of bounds, waiting for his help, and there's Akina with a big 3.
Kavika Akina with the first PG points with 3:45 remaining in the first quarter, and it's 6-3.
I go right back inside here to Freeland. You got 2 bigs between Freeland and Peterson. Use them right now with Van Komen on the bench.
Freeland at the junction. He'll jump it and score it. The more confidence you can get to 24, the better it'll be for Coach Briggs.
Said that's a shot he can take.
Akina give it up to Derek Church, working on Freeland as that one stripped. Up the floor now with Vaughn. Terry now in the corner. Burgess, reverse it, no. Freeland with the rebound and the foul to Church. It'll be Freeland going to the line for 2 free throws.
First foul on Church, second team foul. And it's Freeland to the line, shooting 2 here.
And Freeland rolls in the first.
Dusty, we talk about culture changes, and American Fork, a great example. We talked about this a couple times today already. Trailing double figures in the first half. Old American Fork, don't know if they're able to come back and win that game. They do under a new regime. How about Herriman?
Right.
Get a big first round win, playing the best ball of the year. Is Freeland going to come off? And I love the timing of this substitution. get him some rest with Van Coleman on the bench. This is not the Herriman of yore.
Nice drive by Brown, loses the handle, and they're going to keep it here. As the officials get together. Although they did point to PG at the beginning. Officials got together, they'll keep it here with Pleasant Grove. Now remember, Herriman PG was a region rivalry until the last realignment. But I don't know how familiar all these guys are together.
And Coleman back on the floor here. One of the assistants went over and was talking with Matt pretty distinctly.
Van Coleman has back to Kavika Akina. As Peterson now guarding Van Coleman.
You know, and here's the thing for Matt. This is a great test of what life will be like next year up on the hill. That one couldn't get over the front of the rim. Great job by Peterson in the paint.
And normally he can get those to crawl over, speaking of Van Coleman, as it's a 7-point Herriman lead. Send outside, thought about three and wisely held on there. Did McCann. And now Church nearly with the steal. Vaughn gets inside of Akina, jump it. And it won't come off, or it won't fall. And a foul on the rebound going on
Van Coleman.
I know we're going to get on Casey Brown. And the third on PG. 2:25 left in the first. Try to go quickly into Peterson. Vaughn from the corner. A little wide. Peterson blocked by Van Coleman. And we'll do it again from the baseline.
You know, we had a chance to sit down with Matt Van Coleman and asked him, what is Utah getting in you? What should Utah fans know? He's you're getting a rim protector. And, you know, really prides himself on his defense and see if that can help him to maybe establish a little more, I don't want to say confidence, but help him maybe take a little more gusto on the offensive end, able to settle in here on the defensive side and make an impact.
Altered that shot there. Brown to Fairbanks. And the three won't fall as Vaughn claims it on the run.
And that's the shot that PG is going to have to hit. When you get those open threes, and Fairbanks had a great opening round for PG, but got to hit those threes against this aggressive Herriman defense. How about PG with just 3 points inside of 2 minutes left here in the first?
Got caught traveling. Yeah, got stuck there. Carly wanted to pass it, wanted to move, and moved before all that.
You know what they say, Dusty? Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that.
Really?
Guilty feet got no rhythm.
Yeah. George Michael, Careless Whisper, in case anyone's wondering.
How did I?
Hey!
And as soon as you said it, now all of a sudden.
I had someone dare me to fit that in. I was like, that's cake, man. Just look for traveling. Half the time traveling called due to the awkwardness of it is Casey Brown. He was just hit a nice floater there in the paint.
Casey's first points. 5 points coming from the guard line for PG. That's nothing new. As those of you tuning in to think Van Coleman's going to score 40 points, it's just not the game for 22. As Vaughn's going to back things up as we near a minute remaining in the first quarter. Vaughn down the lane, give it up to Freeland, who slams it home.
That's a great way to work against this zone. You know Van Coleman, that rim protector mentality, going to come over to try to help. And Freeland able to take advantage.
Fairbanks doesn't get the three on the run. A leak out and an easy two for Nagel. Or Nagelli, pardon me.
A 9-point deficit. I don't know what the biggest one is for PG. It probably came in the tournament in Hawaii when they weren't healthy. But Dustin, when was the last time they trailed by 9 in state?
I can't think of one we've seen. Been last year against Lone Peak as Mickelson gets that one to go. And the Mustangs with a 14-7 lead. Going to walk it up the floor knowing they're going to end the first quarter with a lead against the favorite in the 6A state tournament. Vaughn going to work out the screen of Freeland. Vaughn, fall away. Rolls off. Van Coleman with the board. This will count for Akina. And that'll do it for the first. And what a first quarter for Herriman. Mustangs 14, Vikings 7. You're watching the 6A state tournament on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.
Whether you are a parent, coach, or student athlete, knowing more about good nutrition can lead to success on the court and in the classroom. The Dairy Farm Families of Utah and Dairy West are proud to sponsor the Utah High School Activities Association State Tournament. If you want to learn more about dairy and nutrition, visit dairywest.com.
Start of the second quarter, and it's Herriman with the 7-point lead on Pleasant Grove. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart with you. Dane, your thoughts of that first quarter?
Well, Dusty, I think it's exactly, and I didn't see this coming until Monday, right? When you see Herriman in that first round against Granger, it's like, oh, actually. And I think it's exactly some of the things that we thought coming into the ballgame. The ability of Freeland to battle against Van Komen. I think Herriman's done a great job with some of the range stuff. Is that ball going to be turned over? Important for Herriman to be able to keep their heads in this ball game because PG's going to make a run at some point, and there's going to be times where maybe you don't get a call or two, or you have a turnover or two. How do you respond in those moments? The adversity will come for Herriman, and they're going to have to be ready for when it does.
Lob in to Van Komen. That's out of bounds off of Vaughn, and we'll stay here. I got to tell you, one of the guys I think has to step up in this second quarter is Cale Mickelson. If you look for a mismatch on the floor, an opportunity for PG to find some rhythm, 24's got an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
As Akina going to trigger in and goes into Van Komen. Freeland right there with him. Kavika, send up to Brown, and maybe a missed opportunity for a layup.
Yeah, surprised Kavika didn't take that shot.
Akina on the angle now to Brown. Casey, nice move, send it back to Mickelson. Cross to Akina for three. Mark Mickelson with the board. The back won't go. Strips Freeland. And there's a foul on Freeland.
It's going to be his second.
And that was a frustration one. I know took it out on Van Komen. He might have wanted to take it out on Mickelson. It'll be PG ball on the baseline.
We're pretty far away from the action. I couldn't quite tell if that strip was clean or not. The Herriman bench didn't think it was. It's Freeland now. Boy, this is a big point in this game, having to head to the bench.
Quick snap into Brown, and a foul. It'll be Casey Brown going to the line for two.
That foul going to go on Nageli. His first.
Well, what you got to feel good about with Freeland going to the bench with two fouls here in the second quarter. You got a 7-point cushion.
And that's one of the other things about this Herriman matchup is can Peterson step in and fill that role with big country Blake Freeland on the bench here.
Kids, if you don't know who Big Country is, just go hit it up on YouTube. I'm more of Oklahoma State Big Country than the Vancouver Grizzlies Big Country.
A city that would feel my pain, except they only had like 10 fans, so.
Ooh, Nageli got away with that one as Vaughn along the baseline. It's all right, Herriman feels their old one as Van Komen with the block. Here comes Fairbanks. Hand off Akina. In the corner, Fairbanks. Three is short. Vaughn sends ahead. The bump and bucket for Chase Carley.
Akina was racing to get back. Sometimes you just got to concede the bucket. Instead, the personal on Carley heading to the line here. And fortunate for Herriman, because you have Fairbanks with an open corner three, and if you go back to that first game, he shot the ball really well.
And just not dropped for Fairbanks. As the first free throw, or probably first, the +1 is good.
He had 10 points in that ball game, threes in the first and second quarter to help set the tempo.
when PG absolutely blasted their way to a runaway win in that first round. Go inside. Van Coleman, turnaround doesn't go on Peterson.
What were we told yesterday or earlier this week? One of the matchups was you always had to have a hand on the big, right? And Peterson that time, he is right in on Van Coleman. Even when he turns around, right into the chest, the hand straight up.
Mickelson with the strip. Mickelson fouled on the layup. Goes against Nageli, and it'll be Cale Mickelson going the line for 2 free throws.
That was the other thing that surprised me a little bit when watching this team on Monday was the depth that Herriman had. Just didn't quite realize that that was the case. And it's a young group. We talked about it earlier this week. McCann, Vaughn, and Freeland, the only seniors on the roster. As substitutions coming on here for the Mustangs.
Coming on is Max Miller for Coach McAllister. As the first free throw good for McMillan, the second good as well. 17-11. The lead for the Mustangs. Here's Burgess. Now on the angle with Terry as Coach Briggs takes a timeout. 5:29 left in the half. Mustangs lead by 6.
Join with the players and coaches to raise the bar. Together we can take sportsmanship to a higher level by demonstrating respect for the game and all the participants.
Dan and I are always brought to you by Toss, the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. We want to thank them for always supporting us. We also want to thank Heidemann & Associates, the scoreboard sponsor this week during the state tournaments. And Heidemann & Associates is a dedicated law firm. A law firm is dedicated to winning for its clients, no matter if you need help with drafting a will, helping with your estate planning, protecting your business, or a personal injury. Anything else you need on the legal side, they're there and they want to win for you. Give them a call at 801-472-7742. I want to thank Justin Heidemann and Associates for supporting us here on Deseret News Rewind.
Underneath, Peterson got Van Coleman in the air. Great use of the pump fake there by Peterson.
And that's just good film. If you saw Matt Van Coleman always going after that first attempt, that's something that you just learn from your coaches.
Yep.
As Brown sent to the corner, Mickelson was looking inside to Van Coleman. And now a block can be called on Carly, and that'll be the 15th foul on Herriman. Mickelson pulls for 3. Off the mark. And a rebound in the hands of Burgess. Burgess leaves it for Peterson. Peterson goes around Van Coleman and gets blocked. And the loose ball picked up by Miller. Max on the run. Give it up to Mickelson. Inside, Van Coleman. Matt turned to the left. Jump hook is good. And the first points for Matt Van Coleman.
We're coming midway through the second. It speaks to the great effort on the defensive end for Herriman today. I think they've done a nice job of making him uncomfortable in the offense. To your point, Dusty, not a guy who's going to score 40, but 14, 15, 16, those mid-teens, right where they need Van Coleman to be.
Vaughn misses on the J. Rebound to Van Coleman on the run. Miller, hard to the hole, leaves it up, can't get it. And a rebound to Vaughn.
How about the job that Herriman has done on the glass? They've done a great job, and a team that normally rebounds the ball very well in PG. I mean, even against American Fork, which is much longer than them on the roster, they rebounded the ball extremely well in both those 2 ball games.
Very true. Hand off now to Terry. 3:35 left in the half. And that ball nearly picked by Mickelson, and Cale can't save it. as he hears it from the Herriman fan section.
Here's the other interesting thing. Look at what Herriman's been doing with Freeland on the bench. Remember, he picked up his second foul, went to the bench, what, about 3 minutes ago? It was about 6 minutes?
About that, yep.
Case Peterson provided great minutes with Freeland sitting with 2.
And here's the thing, Herriman's controlled the tempo of this game.
Yes, they have.
Which has really limited the other end, and that's part of that rebound one and dones. It's a lot of what we saw in the first game of the day, Copper Hills and American Fork.
Even Kearns Davis.
Yep.
You know, Davis never let Kearns get out on the run. And this PG team gets out on the run a lot with Akina and Brown and some of their guards. But look, everyone rushing back for the Mustangs, just taking that away.
Akina, give it up to Brown. Casey comes off there, and there's the bump and the foul. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws for Casey Brown. Oh, well, they got it on there quick, so that is the 16th foul. Miller, give it up Akina.
Boy, one more of those jab steps, he might have enough space for a shot.
Van Coleman sends it out right to the rim, goes Nichols, and it crawls out. And that is number 3 on Nageli.
Boy, tell you what, great move there by Tim Nichols. And you see how much respect and how aware Herriman is of that outside shot. The quick close, and the lane's wide open. Everyone else for PG on the far side. A good drive that time by Nichols to be able to get the contact. Almost had that one roll in. Could have been a three-point opportunity.
And a lot of attention being paid to Van Coleman. The kid keep opening up the lane. Matt keeps moving out toward the free throw line on those passes. As now Nageli comes off the floor. Nichols got the first. Misses on the second. 5-point advantage for Herriman. Remember, it's 14-7 when Freeland went to the bench. It is up top now with McCann. Now Vaughn. Vaughn gets inside Akina, give it to Peterson. Nichols, maybe got away with one there. 3 on the way from Burgess off the mark. Van Coleman pulls down the rebound, now on the push with Akina.
Apparently Peterson just needed a little head bob to draw the whistle.
And Fairbanks able to get it to go, and it's a 3-point game. And so Terry got really close, maybe picking up that dribble. Is Herriman trying to stave this off. J.L. Vaughn, 3 won't go. And a rebound off of Peterson. It'll be PG ball.
Freeland still on the bench here, and if I'm Coach Briggs, I'm thinking he's probably going to sit for the rest of the half. I mean, if you wanted to try to quell this run, I think you'd bring him on now. But I think Coach Briggs thinking the second half more important than the final minute 38 with the way that we're playing defense right now.
Being down 2 with Freeland with only 2 fouls to going in the third quarter is better than him having 3 fouls and down 2.
Right.
Kavika Akina hands off to Fairbanks. Fairbanks going to drive. And a foul as Fairbanks takes a bump from McCann, and it'll be Fairbanks shooting 2 free throws.
You know, we talk about Fairbanks, his ability to shoot, and what he did in that first game. And just the 2 points tonight, but get yourself to the line. Opportunity to just kind of breathe and settle in. And man, PG at the line, they've left a couple points hanging.
A lot. Been a tough end of the floor here. The 5A tournament all of a sudden crept into the quarterfinals. And Fairbanks rolls in the second. 19-17 Mustangs. A 10-5 run from PG since Freeland went out the second foul.
Vaughn, nice move.
Beautiful move and finish. Plenty of guys get around Van Coleman, and very few get the ball into the hoop when he comes from the trail.
Man.
Akina gets inside, blocked by Vaughn. Jail sends ahead, Mickelson with the steal. Saves in Peterson. McCann. 4-3.
Huge sequence. Vaughn with the bucket, the block, and the steal ends up in a wide open three from McCann. His first points tonight. That lead back up to 7.
Van Coleman to the left. Can't finish. And the Mustangs with a chance to get up 9, possibly 10 with the 3. Vaughn over Van Coleman.
A multiple-year starter for the Herriman Mustangs, and J.L. Vaughn, the last 2 buckets, well, 2 of the last 3, plus a big block. The senior showing up late here in the first half.
7-0 run to close the half. Skip over to Fairbanks. Back rim. And a rebound to Terry. They get it off, no. End of the first half, a great half for the Mustangs. Herriman 26, Pleasant Grove 17. You're watching the 6A quarterfinals on live.ksl, DeseretNews.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WATCHits to the floor for their halftime entertainment. Tonight they will be performing their camp hip-hop routine. The WATCHits are coached by Stacy Squires, Sammy Jo Carson, and Sam Taylor. The WATCHits. Third quarter possession arrow to Pleasant Grove.
Start of the third quarter, Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart with you. The scoreboard is not wrong, folks. Herriman leading 26-17 over PG at the beginning of the third quarter. Dane, a spectacular first half for Herriman as Van Komen turns it over.
And you know what? Freeland right there with me started driving a little bit of a body. Maybe disrupted the rhythm for Van Komen as he was trying to drive.
Brown with the board off the miss from Vaughn. Casey, send up top Fairbanks. Fairbanks float it, score it.
There you go. All right, so we talk about Herriman. They're wanting to live in that mid-range. And if you're Fairbanks, the long ball has not gone today for PG. So what do? Pump fake because they respect it, get to that mid-range, and float it up before the D can get there on the back line.
Brown with the steal, gets around Burgess and lays it home. And how about this? 2 Herriman possessions and 2 Casey Brown steals.
Looks like a flipping of the script here, huh? That was how Herriman started.
Hey, you want to get out on the run, you got to make a defensive play.
Yes, you do.
And Casey Brown had a quiet first half as well as Vaughn gets this floater to go.
Man, he's really starting to come alive on the offensive side in particular.
Kavika Akina, 3 won't go. Rebound to Mickelson. And Kale gets the foul on Vaughn. It'll be 2 free throws for Kale Mickelson.
Couldn't quite tell if that one was clean from behind. It might have been one of those where because he's coming from the backside, Dusty, that official makes the call. First on JL.
And it's also hard when you're a guard getting that block. Always makes it difficult as well. Let's be honest, the optics. As Mickelson got the first and the second. 28-23 is PG, and I think this is a good move by Coach McAllister. If you're going to pressure, you want to speed up Herriman, you got to pressure him. Vaughn give it up, and Peterson, and I must have went off of Van Komen's foot. That was really close. I thought maybe going off Peterson's leg.
It's one of those things, made the comment back in the second quarter, PG hasn't been able to get fast break points, and I think that's what's really helped them in a lot of the games this year to really open those ball games up is getting steals and getting their guards out on the run. And I agree, Dusty. Introduce some full court press, try to speed up Herriman, get back to your tempo.
Well, the other part of it as well is that PG keeps dribbling in to a set Herriman defense on a make or miss, as that doesn't go. And Freeland can't control it. Mickelson saves it off of the official.
I think they called the kick on PG. Yeah. I don't know that I quite saw that.
I didn't either. But either way, it's Herriman basketball. Up 5.
But as we found out, I also missed a dunk in a game earlier today. So Dane's setting up an appointment with the optometrist.
Peterson gets the board. The 3 won't go, and it's now Mickelson with the rebound on the push. Here comes Kale. Leave it out, Fairbanks. Akina straight away. Akina short, and the rebound tracked down by Freeland, and that's a 3rd personal foul on Blake Freeland.
No, they call it on Akina.
It's on Akina. Freeland the guy must have the reach before the elbow.
Yeah, so I think there was certainly an elbow to the jaw of Akina, but it's almost one of those, I don't quite know if they thought Akina went into it or if they caught him on a foul prior to, but Akina with the second.
Nice pass from Vaughn to Freeland and a foul to Van Komen. And Blake Freeland will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Freeland back on the floor here to start this second half. And here's the other thing about Freeland. And you look at the kid, and boy, big body, right? He's actually really nimble. And I mean, you think about some of these longer rebounds, and he's, one step and a hop out from tipping it out or trying to gather for his team. He's done a good job of using his size, but he's got a good level of athleticism to go along with it.
Freeland was a quarterback on the football team for a couple of seasons, played tight end, played defensive end, been good sauces telling us that he's going to be a tackle at BYU. As Freeland splits the pair, and it's a 6-point advantage for Herriman.
I didn't say that. So, Blake, if you hadn't heard that, at Dusty Litzer on Twitter.
Happy to take that one on. I'll tell you who told me. It was Sean Walker and Fairbanks. The junction and backs it out. Mickelson on the drive and a foul to Freeland. That is number 3 on Blake Freeland.
That's one of those where the temptation is there, and if you're Blake, you just got to withstand that one. Got to live to make another play, man.
All the fouls should be given on anything happening with 22 and not any other number.
Yep.
As Cale Mickelson.
Blake going to stay on here.
And I think a wise decision here, Coach Briggs.
You just got to review with the young man. Hey, I need you on there for the next 5:17. I need you through the third. Cannot pick up the fourth here.
Mickelson gets them both.
And I think, the fact he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar, if I'm PG, I keep going right at him, either with Van Coleman or with my guards.
And Mickelson's got to be that guy coming off the wing there, putting the ball on the floor.
Right now, Mickelson dedicated J.L. Vaughn, not even looking at the ball. He's just focusing on 12. There it is.
And a steal by Mickelson. Vaughn behind him, and it'll be Vaughn picking up his second personal foul. Be Mickelson once again going to the line as he earned it with the steal, and Vaughn with the chase down.
You made this comment, I think it was yesterday. I don't know if it was Monday. I don't know if it was the Herriman game or not, but how everybody now going for that LeBron block for behind. And sometimes, look, just go contest. No need to lay a senseless foul. And right now, Mickelson at the line, he's the best option for PG. They haven't executed in their half court. They're getting a lot of their points from the free throw line right now. Stop sending them to the line uncontested.
Well, and the other part, too, why the LeBron block works for LeBron James, he's typically higher than the guy he's chasing down.
Yeah.
Up the floor with McCann. Now Freeland. He's going to pull for 3, and Blake from outside. You mentioned the 3 he had in the first round. He got a 3 there.
Hey, he also hit a jumper from 17 in that first half. Blake Freeland dialed in.
Brown has that one come off and gets his own rebound and puts it in.
Blake was so worried about Van Coleman. He didn't go grab the ball. He was worried about boxing out. Gives up an uncontested 2 to Casey Brown.
Brown got there, put in the bucket. 4:24 left in the third quarter. Full timeout. We'll take it with you. Watch the 6A state tournament.
Stop by your nearest Jimmy John's location today to try their new 9-grain wheat sop made with the best of the best ingredients and baked fresh every day in store. Now available at a Jimmy John's near you. Wheat yeah, freak yeah, Jimmy John's.
.424 left in the third, and Mickelson in the third quarter, a Cale, and Fairbanks can't get it. Van Coleman tips it out of bounds.
Dusty, I'm trying to think. Have they made a 3?
Kavika Akina. Akina has
one in the first?
Yeah.
I have Fairbanks with 3, but I don't know if it was a 3 or if it was an and 1.
I think he had a 2, and then he split a pair at the free throw line.
Could have been.
In the second quarter. Freeland blocked by Van Coleman. And stolen. Mickelson. Lob it up to Brown, and Brown now makes it a 1-point game.
This is the PG tempo. Dusty, they've been able to speed Herriman up.
And here's the thing, folks. There's a foul to Fairbanks. PG is not a man-to-man pressing team. They want to speed some things up. They normally don't do it. They play 2-3 zone, let their length do their talking.
Yep.
But right now, that is not the advantage you have on Herriman. And I completely agree. You go start trapping, make them get up and down the floor, and now you get some bad decisions. And the hard part is your best player at the moment just came off the floor to get a breather with 3:47 left in the quarter.
I think Casey Brown has started to come alive here in the third, has 6 in the third, now has 10 in the contest.
Brown nearly with the steals. McCann, he can go from hip to hip. And we got a foul on Pleasant Grove. That'll be the 4th team foul on the Vikings.
Fairbanks picking up his second. He came in from behind and wrapped it up. So 2 quick fouls here on Tyler.
McCann will trigger in the inbound there from the sideline. Got in right into Freeland. Reverse it, blocked by Van Komen. Inside, McCann. Pardon me, that was Carly. Great move without a ball, nice find by Freeland.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Brown or someone else underneath, but they were worried more about the cutter. Didn't see the ball coming at all, and that's a great pass by Freeland from the baseline to squeeze it in.
Brown up top now with Nichols. Sent back out to Casey. Casey, pump it, drive, float, and it won't go. Brown go line for 2 free throws. That is the 5th team foul on Herriman.
Terry picking it up, and it's that swipe. As Casey Brown starting to bring up, that hand come down, getting the call. Fortunate Brown didn't finish that because he had an opportunity to get a clean shot away.
And the first good there from Casey. And Nageli will come back on. And Brown got them both.
8 points in this third quarter for PG. How about a 16-8 scoring advantage for the Vikings?
34-33 Herriman with 3 minutes left in the third. As PG now going man-to-man.
Nichols on Vaughn.
Vaughn comes off that screen, float it. Won't go. Freeland with the board and put back. Nicely done by Freeland. And a near steal on that far side by McCann, and it'll be Viking ball.
Pleasant Grove, number 24, Cale Mickelson.
Cale Mickelson back on here for PG. You talked about the hot hand, a quick break for Cale.
.240 left in the third on a rolling clock. And a charge on Casey Brown. 15th foul on the Vikings.
That the 5th team foul on PG?
Yes.
Did you say that?
Yes. Oh, I thought you were asking.
Oh.
Game number 20 of the week, 26 since Friday. Up top, Freeland, hand back to Vaughn. Vaughn pulls for 3, leaves it short. Not what Coach Briggs wanted on that one. You wanted a good game. Today's been the day. Copper Hills AF was a barn burner. Davis able to off Kearns.
Fremont with an explosion in the fourth quarter.
A terrific personal performance there from Dallin Hall over Riverton, and now this barn burner here, PG Herriman. Fairbanks hand back to Akina, now on the angle with Mickelson. Now up top, Fairbanks. Mickelson on the drive, step back from the junction, and Cale Mickelson with 12 points and 8 in the quarter.
You know, here's what you'd love to see if you're a PG fan. Casey Brown and Cale Mickelson pick up the scoring. They've got 24 points between them, 16 of them coming here in the third quarter.
Is Jale Vaughn, give up top Nageli, on the angle McCann. Looking, trying to get that ball into Freeland. It's Freeland outside. Nice find to Vaughn. Vaughn, right hand, got it. Nice job by Jale Vaughn.
I was going to say, I wasn't a big fan of the hesitation by Vaughn. The moment you get that the post, go up with it. Don't allow Van Komen to come back. Almost like JL knew exactly what he was doing with the hesitation.
Casey on the angle with Nageli. Come off the screen of Van Coleman. Steps back to a 3. No, and a rebound to Vaughn. 50 seconds to go in the third. Right to the corner. Nageli on the drive. Goes at Van Coleman. Can't get it. Hand back to Akina.
Kind of surprised that Herriman elected to take the shot there. Oh, what a
Strip
tie-up.
Nageli, but he stepped out of bounds.
What great defensive play there.
I think Coach Briggs was like, please just give us a jump ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great strip by Nageli. As Kavika will trigger in, as Freeland will get a break here at the end of the third. Mickelson
Close out.
4-3. Kale's terrific third continues, tied at 38.
Boy, a mental gaffe there. You have got to close out on Kale Mickelson. Too much space.
And it's Fairbanks picking up his third personal foul. And I loved Coach McAllister immediately. Like, you can't be there. You got to know where you are. And so now Miller will come on for Fairbanks.
For the Vikings, number 5, Max Miller. In for Herriman, number 11, LeGrand Burgess.
And Coach McAllister has seen a lot of close games in his time here at Weber State in the state tournament. As McCann triggers in to start it. 19 seconds to go in the third quarter. Gonna work on Casey Brown and McCann. Now near side with Burgess. Vaughn and Mickelson just all over him. Hand back, Mickelson nearly got the steal there. And now it's Brown taking on Vaughn. Vaughn thought he'd get the call, didn't. And that'll close out the third quarter. Brand new game as we head to the fourth and final frame, all tied at 38 in the 6-side quarters. You're watching on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.
Third quarter possession arrow to Herriman. 8 minutes left. It's a tie ball game. Will it be Herriman? Will it be Pleasant Grove?
Dana and I are always brought to you by Tosh, the orthopedic specialty hospital. We want to thank Heidemann and Associates for joining us this week as we cover the 5A and 6A tournaments, all 30 games. Heidemann Associates are there for their clients. They want to win for you. As a steal by Mickelson. Kale has that one stripped away. Miller has that one stolen by Burgess. And a crazy game, especially in the second half, has continued to be crazy.
No kidding, huh? 16 fouls on PG, 4 on Herriman, and you can see, whew,
well, Kel Mickelson
getting some atmosphere here.
Is 2 for 2 as Vaughn foul on Akina, and I agree, he had his arm. I know Kavika might initially had the ball. When you saw that move at the end, he had a wrist. That's number 3 on Kavika. And possession. Oh, pardon me, what am I doing? It wasn't a jump ball, it was a foul. That is now bonus free throws here for Jale Vaughn.
To finish that thought, arrow favors PG.
Right.
Next time we have a held ball. As Freeland back on the floor here for Herriman. Just with the 3 fouls. 1-1 for JL.
And JL misses the first, and look at Peterson with the loose ball foul going over, making contact on the rebound on Kel Mickelson. There's no such thing as over the back.
Ah, thanks, Dusty.
When officials reach out to us and talk to us, we learn, and I adapt. because I learned from the Moneyball movie, Adapt or Die. As Mickelson, beautiful drive and got the block. And it'll be Kale going back to the line, the leading scorer in the ball game, number 24.
There's a time to sell a call, and there's a time not to, and LeGrand kind of got caught there trying to get a whistle, and very little chance of having an official call a charge on that one.
Well, not when you're living inside the halo. Sorry, I haven't done it yet today, that much anyway.
I wish I had my other score sheet. Kale has 12 in the second half, make it 13, and I'm betting 7 or 8 of those coming from the line.
Oh, I'll guarantee it. And he has guarded Jale Vaughn very, very well. And I was going to finish this thought. Kale Mickelson. Oh, as Kavika comes from behind. That's number 4 on Kavika Akina.
And most of these are his own doing. And we talked about PG, right? They got to try to speed up Herriman, and they're doing that with pressure. But Kavika, I can think of 3 personal fouls that have all come by him trying to come in and generate a steal.
There's that one. He came with the hand over the top. He comes just underneath. It's a different visual there. Timeout, full timeout taken. You're watching the 6A quarters on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. .706 left in the fourth quarter. Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart with you. And I got to finish this thought on Kale Mickelson. This young man having a terrific second half. Dane, he's not played high school basketball, not made the state tournament. Freshman in Wyoming, wins the state championship. Moves to PG last year as a sophomore, gets to the state championship and loses that one. He only knows how to get to state championship games. As Vaughn going to try to tie this up at the line, he's short. Here's Mickelson, the man of the half, and one!
Dusty, it was the Kale show to begin this season. Went coast to coast against Olympus for the win. And they're debating whether it's offensive, but it went through anyway.
Well, here's my question. It was first hit by Freeland and then hit by Van Komen. So does this, if you watch, I wish we had the replay up. Freeland hit the rim first, and then Komen, I'm pretty sure, hit the rim as well, but I don't know if the ball was already in the cylinder when he did it. So which one supersedes it?
Well, if you touch the rim, I mean, that's going to be on the defense first, right? So that would be goaltending.
If I'm remembering, we have plenty of people watching who have our contact information at T-News Rewind, or if you saw it the same way I did, I thought I saw Freeland hit the rim first, and then I did see Van Komen touch the rim, but I thought it was after Freeland, which would initially be goaltending. 30-second timeout here, PG Dane. What a ball game.
It's been fantastic. And, Dusty, I mean, you look at this second half. It's been 25-12, the advantage for PG coming out of the locker room. And we talk about this being a season of PG slaying some of the demons. Swept Lone Peak, won the region championship, swept AF, and you think we were talking again. We mentioned this already. If it's last year's AF, they probably don't come back in that game this morning. If this is last year's PG, are they able to handle the storm that Herriman gave them in the first half? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you look at what they've overcome this year, the Vikings. And no shock at all that they stay here with a 4-point lead with 7 minutes to play. They've been able to get into their style and flow, and it's really changed this ball game. And Herriman has really struggled to answer some of the pressure that PG has brought in the second half.
You know, it always happened those other years is your third guy never really came through. Kale Mickelson, folks, is not the third guy. It's Van Komen, Brown, and Fairbanks. And Cale is a part of that. But Cale Mickelson has been absolutely spectacular.
Cale is becoming the guy.
And it's now 20 points for Cale Mickelson on the evening. 5-point Viking lead.
16 of those 20 in this second half.
Here comes McCann, one of the 3 seniors on this Herriman team. Into the screen of Freeland. McCann, maybe a little off rhythm there, and a rebound to Casey Brown. Casey, cross court, Fairbanks, and great defense by Vaughn. Fairbanks, Mickelson from the corner. 23 points for Cale Mickelson. McCann can't get it. Peterson with the board, can't finish. And that's off of PG, and will stay with Herriman.
Wyoming hasn't had that talent since J.C. Carroll. How do you let him get away?
He just liked Logan a lot better than Laramie. He wanted the balmy weather of Logan over Laramie.
What? No, I meant
Cale.
Mickelson.
I thought you were talking about JC. Corner, Vaughn. Can't get it. Freeland, that's off of Van Komen.
Oh, it was. I thought it was pretty clear off of Van Komen.
Freeland didn't protest as much as I thought he would. Six minutes left.
To borrow a movie line, would it help?
What?
Can you name it?
Short by Vaughn, or by Mickelson. What? I didn't hear it.
You said Freeland didn't protest as much. And I said movie line, would it help?
I think so.
Well, can you name, I don't care.
Would it help?
Can you name the movie?
No, I can't. Would it help?
Bridge of Spies, man.
Oh. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Outside. Bird just been quiet. He had that terrific first round game. And now McCann working on Miller. McCann terminates in the lane, give it up to Vaughn. Oh, beautiful passes. Blake Freeland with authority.
And that's what Herriman needs to get back to, is the active ball movement to move PG. It's been way too stagnant, way too individual isolation. Get back to the quick ball movement, drive, and hand off as that defense responds.
Why does magic work? It's a sleight of hand. If you let Van Komen sit there and watch the ball where it's going to come from, he's going to go contest it.
Yep.
Brown got into Blake Freeland, and then they get the finish and an 8-point PG lead. Freeland has that one tipped by Mickelson, saved in.
Cale is doing it all.
And Vaughn, and it's Mickelson and Vaughn in the backcourt.
Little game of Twister going on.
Mickelson down the lane, floated short. Van Komen with the board and put back. Van Komen with 4 points.
But it was Cale again, Dusty.
Yes.
I mean, he's the guy generating the steal. He puts up the shot and does a great job of feeling that pressure come from behind. Said, okay, I'll just step in another 6 feet.
I cannot praise Cale Mickelson enough. It takes me back to the conversation we had on Monday with David Evans. And we were talking about a lot of guys, and he goes, guys, how good is Cale Mickelson, and how good will he get? And you saw tonight a young man that just takes his role to its highest level.
Electing to give him a breather now. Probably bring him back in with 3 or 3.5 for the remaining of regulation. Another missed free throw for Herriman.
The free throw line has betrayed the Mustangs. Down by 10. Brown inside, no. Follow up.
No, this waved off on the drive, and JL going to pick it up. That's number 3.
Well, a delayed whistle there, and Brown will. And if you're Herriman, you might not like the call, but you might get a split free throw and save some points. But on JL Vaughn, that's number 3. As Casey knocks down the first. Timeout on the floor. 4:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Vikings leading by 11. You're watching the 2019 6A State Tournament on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.
Don't forget to visit the shirt stop to pick up your state hoodies. screen printing, embroidery, or promotional products at a killer price. Be sure to reach out to the folks at the shirt stop today. Back in for Pleasant Grove, number 21, Kawika Akina.
.406 remaining in the fourth quarter. As this second half has been a complete flip of the script of the first half as Brown gets both free throws.
In more ways than one, Dusty. I mean, all of a sudden PG's making free throws. Remember that first half? Left, what, 6, 8 of them at the line?
Yeah. And Herriman, that had everything on that, struggling from the stripe, missed their last two.
Well, and even, I mean, other opportunities. I mean, JL has had 2 free throws that have barely grazed the rim. I mean, it's almost like there's an open net at the gym.
It holds.
It has today. It has in this one.
It holds up.
There's been one game.
Oh, McCann, he tested 22 and didn't get to see it go through as Fairbanks traveled. Yeah.
You know the other thing? Matt Van Komen, in the last, 5 minutes, has a much better attitude on the floor. Not that he was a bad attitude, but when you look early on, right, got beat inside a couple of times. The offense wasn't really engaged and was kind of like, I don't want to say hanging the head, but was kind of a little slow. After that block, he's sprinting up the floor with his teammates. I made the point back in the first, once he can start making some plays defensively, does that help him get more engaged in PG and in their flow? And I think it has here in the second half.
Freeland misses on the 3. Akina playing with the 4 fouls. And now a foul to Burgess. Put Akina at the line for 1-on-1. No, I agree with you. And I think some of that has to do with the teams playing a lot better.
Well, it's energy, right? I mean, there was no energy for PG. Not from the fans, not from the bench, not on the floor. It was very just, ugh. But they've been able to pick it up in the second half, and I think everyone feeds off of that.
How about the 2 favorites in this tournament, both going down double digits and both responding in the second half, getting into their game? AF and PG both were dead in the water.
Yeah.
Today.
Yep. Looked like 2 completely different teams.
Bookending the quarterfinal day here from the D Event Center.
37-14 in the second half.
Folks, Herriman was, just absolutely playing at a terrific pace, doing exactly what they wanted. They closed out that half as Vaughn misses on that. Freeland with the rebound, send out to McCann. Pumped, and then that is off the mark into the hands of Akina. Now the foul to Burgess, and Kavika will go to the line for double bonus. At the end of that half, it was amazing. At the end of the second quarter, PG starts coming back. It was 19-17, and then it was a 7-0 run to close out the half, and I thought, Herriman can carry this over in the second half.
With Freeland off the floor.
Right.
I mean, it was just like they were doing anything they wanted. And in the second half, it's been the complete reverse.
Well, it's amazing about it, too, is Freeland's got 14 points. He had 2 fouls in the first half. He's only got 1 here in the second. He's played smart, but just not been able to affect the game the way that was being done earlier. And it's not just him. PG players, started with Casey Brown getting that steal, and then Cale Mickelson.
Well, and I think part of that is the exact explanation of it. I mean, early on, they were trying to force the ball into Van Komen, and Freeland was just teeing off. And in the second half, it's, all right, let's get our guards going, right? Let's get Brown, let's get Mickelson some fast break opportunities through the lane, and, did a great job of really working away from Freeland to try to minimize his impact in the second half.
4th foul on Casey Brown, and hey, how about a quiet 16 points for Casey?
Yeah. Well, 8 of them coming back in that third, and that was when PG really made their run, and a lot of those coming off of steals, right? Steals and fast breaks for Mr. Brown.
First made free throw of the quarter here comes from Brock Terry. And he gets his second as well. 14-point game, 2:40 left.
Last state championship for PG, 1980. I'm trying to think of banners in their school.
I think it's later than that. I have to double think that.
I know there's a banner in like 1918, but I know they've won one since. I just don't know when. Any PG fans? Anyone out there?
Yeah, we'll find that one. We'll get on the old Google machine for that one. As Brown tracks down that loose ball, and you asked me a year ago if we already had that information, but can't find it. Three from Fairbanks. It would have fallen the first half. It's fallen in the fourth quarter.
Safe to say the internet wasn't around when they had their last basketball state championship. And this lead now pushed up to 17. And the score not going to indicate how this game went. Cale Mickelson once again. My goodness, folks. You want to know great juniors in the state? Where's number 24 for PG?
He's been really, really good. And a terrific second half for Cale and for the Vikings as Mickelson send out. Nichols is going to keep the ball moving. And now the foul.
Foul on number 12, Joel Vaughn, his third. At the line in the double bonus, shooting 2, number 3, Casey Brown.
Is Casey at the line. Makes the first.
In for Pleasant Grove, number 30, Derek Church.
As Blake Freeland leaves the floor the last time, Dane, we talk about the game, but Blake Freeland, very, very good tonight.
Man, he was fantastic. He was fantastic. And you look at his impact in that first half. I'll tell you this. I mean, he gave Matt Van Komen everything Pleasant Grove wanted, didn't want. I mean, he was an absolute beast. And in the second half, I think Herriman got away a little bit from what they were doing, and PG was able to win out the tempo. He who controls the pace controls the race, and I think PG was able to get around Freeland, but it took some work to do it. By the way, 1961, the last state championship for the Pleasant Grove Vikings in basketball, is another finish at the rim, this time by Take Me to Church.
And Derek Church had a chance to talk to his dad before the game. As that shot doesn't go from McCann, the putback from Peterson wouldn't go, and kind of just how the second half went for the Mustangs. There's only 16 second half points.
And how about, Dusty, a team of destiny for PG?
I think a team of reckoning. I mean, it's been coming for a while. Coach Randy McAllister has been so good at Pleasant Grove as J.L. Vaughn misses on that one, and possibly his last shot at Herriman.
You know, not to bring up bad air, but a number of playoff disappointments for PG in recent years. And we talk about getting off the schneid, right? A lot of trends being broken by this group, and here's another one. An impressive comeback, come from behind win. Coach Wooten in the house cheering on the basketball squad in the quarters.
And the Vikings move on to the semifinals. They got all they could handle from Herriman, and they get a 63-42 win. Dane, your thoughts and a selection of a player of the game.
Man, I will tell you what, if it's not for Cale Mickelson, the dream dies tonight for Pleasant Grove. Herriman, great effort and a great turnaround in the back half of this year for the Mustangs. Get that number 2 seed in the region, get a big win, and contest against who many think the favorite to win in 6A. But at the end of the day, Casey Brown, Cale Mickelson, their defense really got things running in that second half. But Cale finished unofficially, I think, with 23 points tonight for PG. A number of steals, great on the boards as well. Cale Mickelson, our player of the game.
Congratulations to Coach McAllister and the Vikings moving to the semifinals, and Coach Briggs and the Mustangs. A great night, come up just short, but a strong run here in the state tournament as the Vikings moving on to the semifinals. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and watching the 2019 6A State Tournament on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.